Hey, and welcome back. It's me, Ziggy, here to talk to you about sports, mainly basketball. Of course, that's my number one love. But before we get into the NBA playoffs, which I'm super excited about, I'm so glad. It literally took the last day of the NBA season on Wednesday for the eighth seed for both conferences, East and West, to be decided or determined. So, before we get into the basketball, a little bit of football. Adrian Peterson was reinstated. And I know that the Minnesota Vikings wanted to keep him. However, he allegedly expressed wanting to go elsewhere. I also heard that he had been talking with Jerry Jones down in Dallas. So we'll see where Adrian Peterson lands, if he goes back with Minnesota Vikings or if he'll, test the waters and see what's out there. He's still a really good running back, so I'm sure it won't be long before he's snatched up off the market. That's that. Moving over to former football players or whatever. Aaron Hernandez was found guilty of the murder of Odin Lloyd, who was like his friend that was murdered about 2 summers ago. So, yeah, almost 2 years ago. And so, yeah, Aaron Hernandez was like a little, crime mob lord or whatever. So he was found guilty of that, and I believe and that was a mandatory life sentence, but I believe that he can appeal that, so I'm not sure what's happening. But he's also a suspect in a couple of other murders too, so who knows how that will turn out and what that'll look like. But for right now, the big case, the case that has been in the media for the last almost 2 years, which was Aaron Hernandez being charged with the murder of Odin Lloyd. The jury deliberated, for about 36 hours, and they did find him guilty. So, just really for Odin Lloyd's family, I really hope that they get the closure that they were expecting, and that they can move on, because, death, murder is never cool. Back to the NFL, because we're talking about Aaron Hernandez was a tight end for the Patriots, and so everyone wanted to know what was going on with that. So that's that story. Going to press pause there, just because let's talk about death and murder, stuff like that. That's not why we're here today. For the fun stuff. The first team to win 16 games, or the only team to win 16 games between now, or technically Saturday, in June, will be the NBA 2014-2015 champions. So, what do we have? I'll start from east to west, only because west is best. So you always save the best for last. You like how I did that there, right? So, I'm cracking myself up today, I'm sorry. So, in the East, we have the number 1 seed Atlanta Hawks. They will be taking on the number 8 seed Brooklyn Nets. I totally didn't see the Brooklyn Nets getting in there, but I believe the Pacers had lost, and I forgot which other team had lost. So I see Atlanta taking that 5-2. So Atlanta will win the series, and they'll win it by, they'll win 5 games because it's the best of 7. And then Brooklyn will win 2, the last 2. Or win 2 in the middle of there somewhere. The 4th and 5th seed. The 4th seed is the Toronto Raptors. And then the 5th seed is the Washington Wizards. Those teams are very comparable. It can literally go either way. I'm just, for the sake of shits and giggles, going to put my money on the Wizards and say that the Wizards will walk away with a 4-3. So going all 7 games. Chicago and Milwaukee, they're playing, and I think Derrick Rose is back because he injured a leg again, something like that. I told you guys about that a few weeks ago. But Milwaukee, they're coached by Jason Kidd, who used to be the coach for the Brooklyn Nets last year, but we're not talking about that either. they're like a shockingly like decent, well-rounded team. The one thing that I like about Milwaukee is that those guys are huge. Like, I think like the average height for the Bucks is like 6'10". Like, I think that if you're not like 6'6", like you're just probably like a bench rider. Like, those guys have like long limbs. Like, so whoever they play, whoever Milwaukee play, they're going to give them a hard time because their defense, I mean, they can defend the ball pretty well. So with that being said, being that Milwaukee's a younger team, I do believe that they will take the series over Chicago 4-3. It'll definitely be a close one. And then in the last matchup, in the 2 seed, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. Cleveland, I have Cleveland winning, obviously. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, and you have Mike Miller, who like will kill you with the 3-ball. So I have actually that game going 7 as well. Boston, they really ended the season strong. They too fought for the 7th seed, because at one point they were out of the playoff picture, and then they were able to get a couple wins. Some other teams to get some losses, so they are the 7th seed. So I see that series going 5-2 with Cleveland ultimately winning. We'll see. I'm not sure because the playoffs will start till Saturday. Moving over to the West Coast, y'all know I'm excited about this. The Warriors are the 10th team to ever reach 67 wins. So on their final night of the NBA, I believe they played the Denver Nuggets. And I believe the reserves played the whole second half. Steph and Clay did not play the second half at all. I want to say I didn't see Eags out there. Didn't see Draymond. I can't recall seeing Harris. Anyway, I'm so happy and so proud of the Warriors right now. Whoo! We'll see how far they go, praying to the top. Anywho, they're playing the Pelicans. And the Pelicans, let me tell you, they earned the 8th seed. They freaking beat the Spurs. The last night of the NBA, it was either the Pelicans or the Thunder. I believe the Thunder lost. I believe that's what happened. But the Pelicans won. And I honestly thought the Thunder were going to get in there, because I was like, oh, they totally... The Thunder were playing they were playing a team that they should have beat. And I'm like, it is no way San Antonio is going to go into the playoffs with a loss to the Pelicans. I was wrong. So, with that being said, congratulations to the New Orleans Pelicans. I do like their coach, Monty Williams. He's just like one of those coaches that you just like, So congratulations to those guys. Anthony Davis, they call him Eyebrows. I don't really like that name. He has really defined eyebrows, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, the Warriors will be playing the Pelicans in round 1. Now, last time the Warriors played the Pelicans, they lost, but we also know the Warriors wasn't really into that game. They should have won it, but clearly, like I said, they really wasn't into the game. They really haven't been into much lately, because they've just been winning, and they were 10 games up, so they really had nothing to play for except for just wins, really, and records. They were just playing for records. So with that said, I believe the Warriors will win that series 4-1. The Pelicans will, they'll fight hard, and that's why I'm going to give them the respect of one game. But they'll put up a good fight. I'm not going to take any credit away from them. They'll put up a good fight. However, when the Warriors kick it into overdrive, man, the bench is deep. So, the Pelicans can hang for a little bit, but when they go into overdrive, it's good night. Now, the 4th and the 5th seed. The 4th seed is the Portland Trailblazers, and the 5th seed is the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis was in 2nd place for all of the entire season, with the exception of this last month, and then they slipped down to 5th. Don't know how that happened, but it happened. I'm concerned about Memphis. I just am. They're playing Portland. Portland has had a number of injuries, especially going into this playoff season. So I'm actually really concerned about them as well. They've been able to still win. So I don't know what that'll look like based upon, team history and things like that. I like Damian Lillard. He's a, native boy. He's from Oakland. And I do like LaMarcus Aldridge. They also have Steve Blake, and I actually like Steve Blake as a backup guard. I'm going to give this to Memphis on the strength that they don't really have injuries like Portland does. I suspect that will go 7-3-4. Obviously, Memphis winning. Now, for a really good matchup, I think that this is probably one of, in the West, all the matchups are good because the West is just amazing. So it doesn't matter who you play. It's going to be a challenge. But in third is the Clippers. I was going to say LA. Y'all would have thought the Lakers. No, they're at home. And the San Antonio Spurs are in sixth. And that, on my cheat sheet that I'm looking at right now, I have it 4-3 Clippers. I have 4-3 San Antonio. I don't know. The Clippers they've had really good teams. They really have, they have a solid starting, five. They have a solid bench. But for some reason, they just can't make it to the promised land. And Doc Rivers is your coach. And I don't understand. I really don't understand what's going on. Not taking anything away from the Clippers, I just don't think that they're as much of a threat as they used to be. This year, I'm just not concerned about them as much as I was, last year, the year before that. On the same token, San Antonio, they're an older team. There's some inconsistencies there, but they are the defending champions. So you have to give them their respect. And if you know me, I love Greg Popovich. He is an amazing coach. He is my favorite active coach right now. Hands down. My top three. Phil. Phil. His name ain't Jerry. Oh gosh, what's his name? Is it Jerry Brown? Larry. Phil, Larry, and Pop. Favorite coaches ever. So we'll see. I'm going to give the edge to San Antonio just because that is a team who knows how to kick it in overdrive. They'll play with you for a while, but when it's time to shut it down, they'll go ahead and they know how to do that. Because they know how to put their, when they put their foot on your neck, that's it. So they're really good at that. So I'm going to give it 4-3, the edge to San Antonio. And then lastly, in a very, very, very good matchup in the Southwest is Houston Astros, wrong sport. Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Houston came in second and the Mavericks are in seventh. 1-8 is still good in the West, but this Houston Dallas matchup, for some reason, it's really sticking out to me a lot. Dallas definitely bolstered their bench before the trade deadline. So you talk about pulling in Amari Stoudemire. I remember they made the trade for Chandler Parsons. So Dallas is a really solid team. You have Monte Ellis and Dirk Nowitzki, Tyson Chandler. So, it's not like a wimpy team at all. It's a strong team. And then for the Houston Rockets, you have James Harden. And one has to wonder, how long can James Harden go? Clearly, he went long enough to be the second seed, and clearly he is still a contender for MVP, although my votes for Steph. Wardell. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. I like the Dallas Mavericks better, just overall as a team, just as an organization. But I think the Rockets are trying to get back to the days of the 90s. So in a best of 7, I'm giving the edge to Houston. We shall see. I'll have more for you later. I could be wrong. I could be right. Just know that when it came to the NCAA men's tournament, I selected Duke and was right. So there goes some of my credibility. I think I predicted the Super Bowl too. Well, sort of. I just knew the Patriots was going. So, my darlings, until next time, I shall see you later.